you're done. Right?
What? Sorry, chaotic in this household right now. Okay, now we're gonna start. Okay. We're gonna start, find yourself in a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to your knees and close the eyes to start taking deep breaths down into the belly. We're going to do something at the beginning of this practice. It's called Nadi Shodhana, and it's a breathing technique. And so you put your hand into like a surfer dude type of situation where your thumb is out and your pinky is out. And you're essentially just alternating back and forth which nostril you're breathing out of. So as an example, I'm going to cover my right nostril with my pinky, breathe in through the left, and then switch, cover the left, breathe out through the right. And then breathe in through the right, switch, breathe out through the left. So keep doing this back and forth, go at your own speed, whatever feels good. Full inhales, full exhales. This is supposed to balance out the left and right brain. If you feel like you are lacking some creativity or some energy, this is something that you can do for 30 seconds or a few breaths at the beginning or end of each day to help kind of recenter, recalibrate. So we'll do this for a few more breaths, just alternating back and forth. Go one more time on each side. And then bring your hand back down to your knee. And we'll start with a little bit of movement. So with your hands on your knees, so we're just going to start making big circles with the torso, getting into the hips. Let's go 5 times in one direction and then switch, go 5 in the other. Nice and slow. Start to make your way back into center when you're ready. And just bring the right hand down. Left arm goes up and over, stretch out through the side body. Bring your left hand to the back of your head and just try to open up the chest towards the ceiling. Gentle twist. And come all the way back into center. Bring the left hand down, go the other way. Right arm goes up and over, stretch through the side. And then bring the right hand behind the head, open up the chest towards the ceiling. And start to make your way back into center. Let's switch the way the legs are crossed. So it'll be the way that feels just a little bit more uncomfortable. And then we're going to start making big circles with the neck, big loops. Nice and slow. This time we'll just go 3 in one direction, then switch, go 3 in the other. Stop and hold in any places that feel sticky or like they need a little bit more time to release. Start to come back into center. This time we're going to interlace the fingers, push the hands out, round out the spine. Inhale, hands come up. And then bring the hand behind your head. Try to bring both elbows just a little bit farther back, gentle back bend. And then bring the elbows to touch, round out the spine. Go back and forth like this 2 more times. You can inhale, open up, and exhale, bring elbows to touch if that feels good, or you can reverse that breath, whatever feels better for you. And then come back to neutral, bring the hands to the knees. We're going to take that a little bit more into the lower spine. Coming through a seated cat-cow. So use your hands on your knees as some leverage. Pull forward and then round up the back. Push that onto the knees. One more time. Pull forward, look up, and round up the back. Chin tucks. Back into neutral. With your ankles still crossed, we're going to roll up over the ankles, come into your tabletop. And from here, we're just going to start to push the ribs out from side to side. Look back behind you in the opposite direction. And then bring your hands a little bit farther up. Knees can come a little farther apart if you want, and we're just going to start to make big hip circles. Go 3 or 4 times in one direction, then switch. Warming up through the spine and the wrists. And then come back to center, tuck the toes under, push back with the hands, and just stretch out the feet for a second. Rock forward again until you're back on your tabletop. Untuck the toes. Tap the tops of the feet onto your mat a few times. And then from here, we're going to keep a really big bend at the knee and just pick up the knees really slowly. Lift the hips. We're heading into a down dog, but go really, really slow. Keep the knees bent. And then when your hips are all the way up, then you can start to straighten the knees a little bit more. Do it really slowly so you can feel if your hamstrings are starting to warm up and starting to be okay with that movement. You don't want to rush into it. So go really slow, pedal at the feet. And then when you're ready, find some stillness. Take 2 big breaths. Start to walk your feet to the top of the mat. Fold forward when you get there. And on your next breath in, roll the spine slowly up to stand. Loop the shoulders up, back, and down a few times when you get to standing. We're going to take that motion a little bit farther, go into our shoulder cars. So let's start with the right arm. Bring the right hand all the way up. Pinky points back and rotate all the way. One more time. And then switch directions on this side. You want your hips to be facing forward if you can. Big circles, get all the cracks out of the shoulders. Switch sides. 3 times in each direction. And switch. On your next inhale, reach both hands up overhead, look up, stretch, come up onto your tiptoes. And then come back down so that your feet are flat. Grab onto your left wrist with your right hand. Pull your hands over to the right. Come through center, switch your grip over to the left. Come back into center. Roll all the way back down until you're in your forward fold again. Come up halfway on your next breath in. Bring your hands to your shins, make a flat spine. And then bring the hands down. Take the right foot all the way back behind you, so we're in a lunge. And then we're going to leave the right hand down, open up to the left side. So the left hand comes up overhead. We're twisting towards the left in our lunge. One more breath here. And then bring this left hand to the inside of the left foot. From here, we're going to pivot and kind of turn onto the right heel. And you'll be up on your left toes. So we're in this lateral squat. You can keep your hands down. You can bring your hands up into heart center. This is called Skandasana. If you want to know the yoga poses for things, yoga names for the poses. Take one more breath. So you'll be feeling this probably in your right adductor the most. That'll be where you're getting this stretch. And also probably in the left foot, stretching out through the foot. Start to pivot, bring both hands back to the mat. Come back up onto the right toes. We're back in this lunge position with both hands on the inside of the left foot. And then we're going to heel toe the left foot to the outer edge of the mat. Bring the back knee down, untuck the toes. So this is our lizard position. You can stay up here on your hands. You can come down to your elbows, or you can leave your right hand down, bring the left hand to the left knee, open up the chest to the side wall. Start to turn back into center if you're not already there. Both hands are down. Heel toe this left foot back into center, and then pick up the back knee. Take the left foot beside the right, so we're in plank. Hold here. Hold here again. One more breath. And then bring the knees down, lower all the way to the front of the body. Bring your hands out in front when you get there. Inhale, come up into your cobra. Loop your shoulders up, back, and down. And release on the exhale. Inhale, loop the shoulders, come up. If you want to add in a twist, you can look just over the right shoulder. Release on your exhale. Last one, come up. And you can look over the left shoulder if you added a twist on the other side. And then release, come back down. Bring your forehead down to one cheek, take a breath. Start to bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Push all the way back up into plank. Hold here for 2 more breaths. And then lift the hips, come back into your downward dog. Pedal up the feet. And then walk to the top of the mat, fold forward. Roll up to stand on your next inhale, and this time we'll roll the shoulders forward a few times when we get to the top. Inhale, bring both arms overhead, look up. And exhale, roll forward into your fold. Come up halfway on your next inhale. And then bring both hands down, take the left foot all the way behind you. Leave the left hand down and inhale the right arm all the way up, twisting towards the right. One more breath. And then start to bring the right hand to the inside of the right foot. So both hands are on the inside. And then we're pivoting up onto the right toes. Left heel is down, left toes are up in this lateral squat position on this side. You can bring your hands into heart center, which makes it a little bit more like a balance pose, or you can reach all the way forward or all the way to one side. Whatever feels natural for you to do here. We'll start to make our way back into center, roll back into your lunge, and then heel toe the right foot to the outer edge of the mat. Bring the back knee down, coming into lizard on this side. So whatever you did on the other side, you can do that here. So I'm going to leave my left hand down, bring my right hand to my right knee, open up the chest. Take one more breath. And then bring both hands back into center. Start to move the right foot back into center as well. Pick up the back knee and take the right foot beside the left. Hold your plank 2 breaths. From here, you can bring your knees down or not. We're going to lower all the way to the front of the body again, so whichever version you want to do. And when we get there, we're going to bring both hands forward. We're going to do these Prong Swimmers or these front body snow angels. So look down at your mat, the back of the neck's long. Lift up the arms as high as you can, and then bring them to your low back and back up again. This is really great for shoulder mobility. We're going to do 3 more. Also really good for lower back and upper back strength. 1 more. Then bring both hands down as a pillow for your head, or bring the other cheek down. Take a big breath. Bring the hands under your shoulders. Push up, and then sit the hips back, come into child's pose. Bring your forehead down. Rock your head just really gently from side to side a few times. Start to make your way back into your tabletop. Tuck the toes under. Lift the hips into down dog. And then we'll walk the feet to the top of the mat, fold forward again. Come to standing on your next inhale. Big exhale at the top. Arms come overhead, breathe in, and then bring the hands into heart center. Bring your weight into your left foot. Take the right foot to the left shin, coming into tree. You can bring your hands out to the side or wherever you feel like helps you balance. Start to bring the right knee into center. Grab onto the shin, pull the knee into your chest. And then we're going to send the right leg behind us, and we're going to land in warrior 2. So we're kind of pivoting as we go. So the right foot lands in warrior 2. Plug the shoulders into the back, looking over the left fingertips. Start to straighten the front leg, bring the hand to the shin, come into your triangle. And then lift up through warrior 2 into exalted warrior. Come back into warrior two, take a breath. And then we'll straighten the front leg, point the left toes the same direction as the right. Interlace the fingers behind you, pull down, open up the chest. And then you can stay here or you can start to fold forward, let gravity take your hands back behind you. Release the hands, bring them to your hips, hinge all the way back up. And then point the left toes forward, sink back into your warrior two. Big breath. Cartwheel the arms down, frame the left foot. Take the left foot beside the right, hold your plank. And then move through whatever type of vinyasa feels good for you right now. So you can bring the knees down, go through cobra, or you can go through upward facing dog. We'll all meet in downward dog anyway. So whatever feels best right now. Take a big breath here. And then we'll walk to the top of the mat, fold forward. Inhale, come up to stand. Exhale at the top. Now that you already kind of know what's coming on the other side, let this side try to feel a little bit more like moving meditation. Try to make it feel as easy as you possibly can. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Bring the hands down. Come up halfway one more time. And fold again. Roll the way up, bring the arms overhead. And then bring the hands together in heart center. Bring your weight into your right foot. Left foot comes to the shin, come into tree. Whatever you did on the other side with your arms, take a breath here. Start to bring the left knee into center. Grab onto that shin, pull it in towards you. And then send the left leg back, land in warrior two. Sink down into it. Look over the right fingertips. Start to straighten the front leg, come into triangle on this side. And then lift up through warrior two into exalted warrior, right hand goes overhead. Back into your warrior two, hold strong. And then straighten the front leg, point the right toes the same direction as the left. This time we'll heel toe the feet in a little bit closer together. Toes are going off at a 45. Bring your hands to your knees and just sink down and let it be a lengthener for your spine. So there's quite a bit of stretch happening right now in your adductors, but also hopefully elongating the spine a little bit here. If you want a little bit more work, you can tuck the tailbone under, bring your hands up off your knees and into heart center. Or you can add in some twisting. Choose your own adventure in this one. We're going to be here for just a few more seconds. And then wherever you are, come back into center, start to straighten the legs, shake them out. Point the right toes forward again, sink back into your warrior two. Cartwheel the hands to frame the right foot, take the right foot back beside the left. A vinyasa of your choice. So chaturanga push-up, upward facing dog. If you're doing upward dog, try to make sure your shoulders aren't in your ears. And then lift up into downward facing dog. Pedal up the feet. Bring the knees down, sit back into child's pose. Bring the arms down by your side so you give your neck a little bit more space here. Rock your head back and forth a few times. Bring your hands forward again and over to the right side of your mat. Pull through the left hand so you can get a big stretch down the left side of the body. Breathe into that space. Walk the hands through center, over to the left. Pull through the right hand. Bring the forehead back down. Come back into center with the hands. Lift up into tabletop, but your knees are a little bit wider, probably, if you're coming up from child's pose. Bring the right hand into the center of your chest and inhale the left arm up. Exhale, loop that arm through. And we'll do that 2 more times following your own breath, or you can just hold on the exhale if this twist feels good. If you're still moving, inhale the last time up, and then bring the left hand back down beside the right. From here, we're going to do a super slow push-up from the knees. Go all the way down. And then all the way back up, slow as you can. Sit the hips back, come into child's pose. Bring the forehead down. Lift back up into your tabletop with your knees a little bit wide. Bring the left hand into the center. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, loop it through. 2 more times if you're continuing to move, or you can hold on the exhale with your arm looped through if that feels good. Last one, inhale up. Bring the right hand down beside the left, super slow push-up. And then sit back into your child's pose. From here, start to roll up to sitting on your heels. You can bring your knees a little bit closer together. From here, we're going to bring the backs of the hands down. So we're stretching out through the forearms. We're going to hold this for a few breaths. You know it hurts. If it's like really, really painful, don't do it. Go on to something else that feels better on your wrists and your forearms. But for me, when I say it hurts, it's like a good deep stretch, but it's definitely tender. A lot of typing. One more breath. And then release that, roll your wrists around a few times. Come forward again into your tabletop. Tuck the toes under, lift into your down dog. Bring your feet a little closer together. And we're going to lift the right foot all the way up into the air behind you. You can stack the hips if you want, if that feels good. You can make some knee circles. Whatever feels good for you here, take one more breath. And then we're going to rock forward. We're going to come into pigeon. So bring the right knee behind the right wrist. Slide back with the left leg into your pigeon. So you can come down to your elbows. You can be up on your hands. You can bring something underneath the right glute. That'll make this position a lot more comfortable. Stack your hands, bring your forehead down, and try to relax down into it. You can start to add in your quad stretch if that feels like a good next step for you. So coming up onto your hands, leaving the right hand down, grabbing onto the left foot, and pulling it in towards you. One more breath. And then you can start to release that foot. Come up onto your hands. Tuck the back toes under. And then we're going to lift up back into downward dog. Pedal up the feet. Notice that you might feel a really big difference between sides right now. And from here, we're going to pick the right foot up again, bring it back behind you. And we're going to step it up halfway. So you're not going all the way up between your hands, just stepping halfway up. You're going to leave your hands down. You're going to leave your left hand down, I should say. We're going to pivot onto the outer edge of the left foot of both feet. You're going to do essentially a side plank, but the right foot is helping you out because it's halfway up the mat, using it as a kickstand. And then you want to push the hips up. You're going to get a big stretch, hopefully, in the right hip, the right glute, the right piriformis. And it won't be so much strain on the left wrist and the left shoulder because we're using that right foot to help us out. Take one more breath. Start to turn back into center. Take the right foot back beside the left and down dog. Bring the knees down, sit back into child's pose. Forehead down, rock the head back a few times. Back and forth. Rock forward, come into your tabletop. Tuck the toes under, up into downward dog. And then we'll lift up the left foot, take it into the air. You can stack the hips if you did that on the other side. You can do some knee rotations. And whenever you're ready, we're heading into pigeon on this side, so bring the left knee behind the left wrist. Slide the right leg back, come into pigeon. Whatever you did to make yourself comfortable on the other side, do that here. And then come back to normal, natural, easy breathing. If you want to add in your quad stretch, go ahead and do that now. If you're doing this and you or starting to notice that you have really, really tight quads, picking up a foam roller would be my biggest suggestion. It's helped me so much. I think last time I was raving and going on about having a lacrosse ball to roll at your feet. And I think having a foam roller and a lacrosse ball are like the two biggest, best recovery tools that you can possibly have. Take one more breath. And then start to release the right foot if you're holding on to it. Lift back up into down dog. Pedal out the feet a few times. And then take the left foot into the air again. Step it halfway up. Roll over onto the outer edges of your feet into this side plank. And then focus on pushing the hips up towards the ceiling. So a lot of work for your obliques. They're the ones helping us to lift. But we really want to be getting that stretch in the glute and the hip. One more breath. And then start to bring the left hand down. Step back into your down dog. Place the knees on your mat. Sit back into child's pose. From here, we're going to start rolling the spine up, so we're sitting back on our heels. But you can just cross the heels this time and then rock back. Take your legs out in front. So we're coming to seated. Give the legs a bit of a shake. And two options here for a forward fold, depending on if you want to stretch your hamstrings or your hips, whatever you feel like you might need more. We're going to inhale the arms up. And then hinge at the hips, reach for the shins, your toes, whatever's available to you. Or you can bring the feet in, come into butterfly and fold forward if that feels better in your body. Start to roll back up. If you were doing butterfly, take both legs out long again. Leave the left leg out long. Take the right foot, cross it over the left knee. Tent the right fingertips behind you. We're going to be twisting towards the right. So you can inhale the left arm up and hook the elbow over the knee if you want, or you can just grab onto the knee like this and use it to pull yourself and help deepen your twist. On your inhales, you focus on a long, straight spine. And exhales, that's when you deepen if you feel like you're not going too far. Start to make your way back into center. Untangle the legs. Tent both hands, both fingertips behind you. Push it out the chest, really straight spine. Almost like a gentle back bend. You can bring your chin up if you want. And release, come back to neutral. We're going to take the left foot, cross it over the right knee, moving into this twist on the other side. So tenting the left fingertips behind you, using that hand to make a straight spine. And then whichever version you did, if you hook the elbow or if you grab it onto the knee, twisting toward the left. One more breath. Start to make your way back into center. Shuffle your feet closer to your bum or your bum closer to your feet. And we're going to roll down all the way to our backs. You can add in some extra core if you want to. by making this a really long count, or you can do some toe taps if you want some extra core here, or hang out in a V-sit, or in boat pose, depending on what you want out of your practice, if you want it to be more intense, or if you want it to be more relaxing. If you want it to be more relaxing, you can just head all the way down to your back. When you get there, hug the knees into the chest. Rock a few times back and forth on the spine, side to side. Bring the feet down. So your knees are bent, reach for your heels. We're going to come into bridge a few times. Always like to get in some back bending. If we've had a long day hunched over a computer. So on your next inhale, start to lift your hips up slowly. Roll the shoulders underneath you. You can interlace the fingers. Create some pressure through the elbows so that there's no pressure in the neck. Should be able to breathe and speak completely normally. Your knees are coming in towards each other. 2 more breaths. Release, start to come all the way back down. Bring the knees up into the chest. Rock side to side. We're going to do one more bridge. So you can choose to do the bridge that we just did, or you can do a thoracic bridge. That's where your elbows are on your mat, your fingers are up towards the ceiling like robot arms, and your hips stay on the ground and you just push through your elbows and your chest comes up. It's a really subtle movement. Or you can do a restorative bridge, which just means when you lift your hips, you bring something like a block or some pillows underneath your sacrum. Choose your own adventure. And when you're ready, we'll start to lift back up. Roll the shoulders under. Calm breaths here. And then release, start to rock back down. Knees into the chest, side to side on the spine. From here, let's grab onto the left shin, take the right leg out long. Pull the left knee in towards you. And then take the left foot up into the air, grab onto the hamstring, pull the leg towards you just gently. So you can stay here if you want a longer stretch for the hamstring, or you can take the left foot all the way over to the right if you want to add in another twist. If it doesn't feel good when you get there, you can stack the knees, coming into our big spinal twist that we've done a few times before. Wherever you ended up, take one more breath there. And then start to make your way back into center, hug both knees into the chest, rock back and forth on the spine a few times. Grab onto the right shin, take the left leg out long, pull the right knee in towards you. And then take the right foot up to the ceiling, grab onto the hamstring, roll the shoulders underneath you. That'll be enough to just pull that leg towards you a little bit. And then you can stay here, or you could take the right leg over to the left, coming into your twist on the other side. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then start to make your way back into center, hug the knees in. Side to side on the spine. So from here, we're going to bring the hands under the knees. We're going to rock up and down on the spine. And we're going to eventually be coming into shoulder stand as our inversion for the day. So I'll just show it to you quick if you've never done it before. But essentially, when you're rocking back and forth, you land like this and you bring your hips into your hands. So your hands are like a little shelf. All the pressure is in your elbows on the mat. And this is a pretty steady, simple type of inversion. Not quite as simple as legs up the wall. So if that feels more aligned for you right now, then head to the wall, take your legs up the wall. This is going to be our last pose before we head into Shavasana or legs up the wall anyway. So if you want to just head straight there, you can do that. Otherwise, you're rocking back and forth on the spine. And then you're heading into your shoulder stand, just catching your hips. We're going to be here for a few breaths. Start to come out of your shoulder stand if you are in shoulder stand right now. And we're going to head down to our Shavasana, or if you have your legs up the wall, definitely stay there. I love legs up the wall. If you're coming down into Shavasana, we're going to do one more little side bend yin type of pose. So you can stay in your Shavasana if you're ready to call it quits for the evening. If you're ready to just relax down into it, that is also amazing. If you want another side bend, you can come into, it's called banana pose. So you're taking your feet all the way over to the right and your hands all the way over to the right while you're lying down. And you're getting a bigger stretch throughout the left side of your body. You can cross your ankles if that helps, and your wrists. I'm going to start making my way to the other side, but you can stay in each side as long as feels good for you. if you're following along with my timing. And that's the end of my banana pose. I'm going to head back into the center of my mat, into Shavasana. Normal, equal breathing. Close down the eyes. Relax the jaw. Relax the face. When you're ready, you can start to bring some movement back into your body. Start to bring your knees closer in towards you. And make your way back up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to your knees or up into heart center. Take a big breath. And then we'll take one together. So big inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Thanks for practicing with me tonight. Namaste to you all. I hope you have a really amazing evening and hope to see you again next week.